Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. My name is Jason. We're in the kitchen, obviously, right? So one of the things we like to do here is not just show you how to grow food, but how to use that dang food once you've grown it, right? Because sometimes you just got a great big mess of vegetables and you're not really sure what to do with it. Maybe you need some creative ideas because you don't want to do the same thing over and over and over. Well, today we got somewhat of a creative idea for you. Angela Kay's been thinking about what to do with it, and I think she's got a brilliant idea for a stuffed pepper skillet. Sometimes you have peppers, but maybe you don't really have stuffing peppers. Maybe you got some peppers you've chopped and frozen, and you can't really stuff peppers out of that, right? But here she's gonna create a stuffed pepper skillet. So it's gonna taste like a stuffed pepper, but it's not gonna be a stuffed pepper. I am not the genius behind this. That's Angela Kay, and so I'm gonna take you over there and let her show you what she's got going on.
Okay, here I have a pound of ground chuck, which is 80-20.
Pork chuck.
Yes, pork chuck. This is 80-20. I wouldn't recommend using anything with more fat than that. You can use less fat. Or you could use Italian sausage. That would also work here, but I'm using beef today because that's what I have.
Yep.
And this is all about using what you got.
Look at that beautiful plate.
Yes. And here we have about 2 to 3 cups of chopped peppers. Any kind of peppers that you like to stuff, go ahead and use them. I've got some orange, some red, and some green here. And I've got about a medium onion. We're using red onion because that's what we grew.
Yep.
All of these peppers were still growing in our garden.
Yeah. Here it is, October 31st, Halloween. In Southwest Ohio, we've got peppers growing.
And we've still got peppers growing, and there's more out there to be picked. Look at that beautifulness in there. That's
a beautiful dish.
Isn't that gorgeous? You want to season this up with some salt and pepper. I seasoned the beef already, but you want to season each step. That's how you get perfectly seasoned food that people don't have to salt at the table. Is season each step. Now, because I like to make my stuffed peppers a little Italian flair, I'm going to add about a teaspoon, you guys know I don't measure that much, of Italian seasoning, and to bring out the oils in it and make it...
That's closer to a tablespoon.
Between a teaspoon and a tablespoon. To bring out the oils and make it more flavorful again, when it's dried like this, you want to rub it between your hands. Because that crushes it and brings out the oils. It wakes up the oils.
Aromatic, makes it more aromatic, brings out the flavors, everything.
And you can smell it the minute you start doing that too. And because we love oregano around here, and I know that already has oregano in it, but it's never enough oregano for us. So I'm putting about a teaspoon of oregano.
That is closer to a teaspoon.
I've told you guys, I don't usually measure when it comes to stuff like spices.
Nope.
I measure with my heart.
And that's how you should cook.
Yes. So you want to stir that in, and you want to let this cook over about medium to medium high heat, depending on your skillet and your burner, until your peppers and onions are nice and tender. Then I'll show you what we do next. Your peppers and onions now are mostly tender.
So it's smelling good.
Yes. So now I'm going to add about 4 cloves of garlic that I have. Yes, that we grew. That I shredded up. I use a microflame to, it's much easier than mincing it with a knife.
Use this right here, in case you don't know. That's what this is.
It's a very fine grater.
Yep. And is it safer than using like a box grater?
Yes, it is. Okay. Yes, it is. You still have to watch your fingers, but
yeah.
Not as much.
She has grated her fingers before, so be careful.
Yes, I've grated my fingers many times. So, now that we've got that in, and it smells amazing, doesn't it?
It smells really good. That garlic has a good... was that the other garlic, the Persian star?
The Persian star.
It had to be, because it smells different.
Star.
It smells a different smell.
Now we are going to add a cup of uncooked orzo. For those of you who may not know what orzo is, it is a rice-shaped pasta. You can use rice here. I prefer to use orzo. Cooks quicker, and I think it makes a better end product.
Orzo is a really nice cut of pasta. It's underrated. People don't use it enough, and now it's not always the easiest to find. Some store brands may not carry it, some brands may not make it, but it's a very, very, very nice piece of pasta to use. You can use it in several ways. It's very versatile. You can use it like Angela's using it here in place of rice. You can use it as in like a risotto style. You can toast it and use it in that manner. Like it's used in soups and stews, and you can even make pasta salads with it. It's such a nice cut of pasta. Now it comes in a small, short, squatty box. Okay, so if you're looking for it, but it's called Orzo, O-R-Z-O, and it's really underrated. I really think you'd enjoy using it.
So I'm doing about a cup of orzo, and this is going to be a 1 skillet meal. So this is going to be quick. So you want to toss that in and get your orzo coated in all the juices and everything from your peppers. And now we are going to add in 2 pint jars of our home canned tomatoes. Or you can also buy probably 2 15-ounce cans of store-bought diced tomatoes with their juice. You do not want to dump off the juice because the juice is what's going to cook your orzo. And actually, if you feel like you need a little more juice, you can add a little bit of water or stock. As you need.
I don't think you're going to, are you?
No. If this was rice, you would need more.
Right.
Orzo doesn't take as much liquid. So you want to stir this all in together. Those tomato chunks will melt down a lot. If you guys have been watching us, you know we grew a lot of tomatoes this year, and I canned a lot of tomatoes.
Sure.
So we're constantly looking for good ways to use up those home canned tomatoes because they are amazing.
And this is going to do it. This is going to be really nice.
And at this point, like I told you, you want to season as you go.
Because the tomatoes now need seasoning, right?
Yes, even though I canned them with salt. So don't go crazy with it because I do can them with some salt. But you need to season as you go.
Remember, you can always add a little salt later. You can never take it out.
Yes.
So be careful.
Now you want to stir this all in. And you want to let this cook on about medium heat until your orzo is cooked. That usually only takes about 8 to 10 minutes for the orzo to be completely cooked, and it will absorb most of that liquid. And then I'll show you what we do next.
And now the point of this video is to really talk about all the different ways that you can use your homegrown food, home canned food, and how usable it really is, how much you can actually use this. And in this dish that Angela's created, it's kind of a hodgepodge of things that we've grown, but it's a lot of food that we've now grown, that we've controlled. How the food was grown, how it was harvested, and how it's handled, and how it's prepared, right? It's all the peppers, so several bell peppers, tomatoes that we grew organically and that we canned. It's garlic that we grew organically and then we harvested and handled and dried ourselves. It's onions that we grew and harvested and dried ourselves. All this stuff is so usable. Now, obviously, we can't grow pasta. Okay, we don't have the space here to grow our own meat or beef like that. And we didn't make our own cheese. There's gonna be cheese in it. Okay, but all these things, you don't have to grow everything on your plate. It's just growing a difference-making amount of food, an amount of food that you can then use with other things that you've had to buy to really make a difference on your family's table, okay?
As you can see, that orzo really absorbed all that tomato juice.
That's a nice consistency now.
It's absolutely beautiful.
It is.
It smells amazing.
Yeah.
So now we are going to add about 1/4 to 1/2 of a cup of Parmesan cheese.
How about this? You just add as much Parmesan cheese as you want to add.
Yep.
Because that's what we're going to do.
Yep.
We're not measuring. We're just going to say stuff to tell you a measurement, but we're going to put as much in as we want.
Exactly. When I'm cooking,
yes,
I measure by the heart most of the time. I give you guys measurements. That way you have something to go by, but most of the time I measure by the heart.
Yep, absolutely. Just envision how much you'd want in there. Put it in.
And we're going to put in about 1/2 cup, handful of grated mozzarella cheese. I grated this myself. I think it melts better.
Well, one thing that melts better is because it doesn't have the starch on it.
Yeah.
Remember that. Pre-shredded cheese, has potato starch or tapioca starch or something on the outside, right?
Or cellulose.
Or cellulose, yeah.
And you want to stir that in and see it gets nice and creamy that way as well. It's beautiful. Smells amazing. So now we're going to top this sucker off with a little bit more cheese. Because you have to have cheese on top of your stuffed peppers.
Now, do you want to top it here or do you want to top it on the plates?
I'm going to top it here so that way it can melt a little bit.
Gotcha.
And you want to put that on there. And I've already turned off the heat because everything's already done. This is not going to take long to melt.
No.
So I went ahead and turned off the heat. And at this point, you want to put a lid on it so that that cheese can melt easier. And that cheese should be melted in less than 5 minutes.
Oh, easy.
And we'll show you what Jason thinks of it.
Look at this beautiful bite of food. I better get it before it falls off. Wow. That's amazing. Angela Kay she's a genius, y'all. She got big brain for foods. I'll tell you something right now. That's awesome. That's a really, really, really good way to use all those garden vegetables. And I'll tell you what, if you just chop them frozen, all your peppers, and it's in the wintertime and you're wanting the stuffed pepper, but you don't have the whole pepper, you just have chopped peppers, that's a legit stuffed pepper. That's everything in that bite that you would get in a stuffed pepper, and it's super flavorful. She did an amazing job, and I think you'll really enjoy making this recipe if you choose to do so. So thank y'all for watching. We do appreciate it. My name is Jason. Big Brain Angela over there. Order Creation Homestead would love y'all. God bless you and goodbye.